What is going on, everyone? It's been a minute, but appreciate you all being here. Welcome to another episode of Sawdust Talk. It's going to be awesome. We've got Whirly Bird Woodworks joining us tonight, and it's going to be insane. Yeah, really excited about tonight's episode, and hope you guys are having a great night as we get everybody in here. Let's see. Is doing well. It's been a minute. I feel like it's been a long time since I've been online. As I get hey, what's going on? How you doing?
What's up, bud? I'm here. I looked down at the clock and like, oh frick, I got like 30 seconds to get out there.
My shop is a mess right now, so I feel that. I was like tidying up. I was like, oh my God, like my Sawdust Talk banner is like tucked away somewhere, so I really need to like unhide that and get that out. But yeah, it's been crazy. So how are you?
I'm good. One day this will be like one of those really pretty YouTube
All right.
backgrounds, possibly. But this place is always gonna be a disaster. I'm always three sheets to the wind.
Honestly. Let's see if we can't get Whirly Bird. Nobody wants to join us apparently. Oh hey. There's some people. What's going on?
Hey,
Our guest of honor tonight.
what's up?
How you doing?
Can't complain too much.
Awesome. Let me see if I can get TJ in here. I'm not sure if he's going to join or not. We'll see. But it might just be us, and we'll just go with it.
Sounds good to me.
Totally fair, right? Oh, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out, is it my Wi-Fi's bad or is Instagram
I
just
was wondering the
being
same
weird?
thing. You guys are a little blurry on my end. Oh, there's TJ. Speak of the devil. Throw my TJ, and then we'll get started. Yes. Oh, weird chemical reaction. That sounds dangerous.
Weird chemical. These freaking
TJ,
late
man.
guys.
Well, as we get him joined, I'll kind of kick things off here. I feel like I have black all over my face. Nice. But I'm Kyle Brewer. I am your host tonight on Sawdust Talk. And tonight, our special guest is Whirly Bird. And I'm also joined by Little Bug Woodworking. And we'll see if I can get TJ in here in a second. I do a little bit of scroll work. I do a little bit of motivation. I've kind of been building a lot of things lately, like the rest of my French cleat wall and some other stuff. So, yeah, that's it about me. I'm based out of St. Louis. If anyone cares, go follow my actual page at Kyle T. Brewer. And over to you, Little Bug.
Oh, I'm Braden. I'm Braden. I do a little bit of everything. I do some CNC work. I do stuff with wood. I don't know. I just make it all up as I go and hope it all works out. So
And I think TJ's trying to join. We'll see. Oh, there he is. So we'll throw it over to TJ now before we kick it off to you, Shawn. And TJ, tell us about this chemical reaction, man.
Right. So I was turning this big chunk of red oak. This is my hand for comparison. It's about 20 inches across. And some other red oak. And some shavings were on the floor. And my dog hasn't been in here, but some of them have kind of randomly turned black. I'm not 100% sure what could have gotten on them, but now the portion of my shop floor shavings are black. And there's tons of tannins in them. So I mean, I'm sure something ebonized it, but yeah, not like yeah.
So you have wood shavings just like randomly turning black, and your first thought is, I'm just gonna sit in the shop for like an hour.
I mean, yeah,
Right?
wouldn't you?
I mean, to be fair, at least he's monitoring the situation, right?
Yeah. So I mean, it's like it's been a day or two, so they could have been exposed. I don't know, maybe alcohol or something. Anyway, don't worry about me. We're here for Shawn. Anyway, so I do wood turning and a little bit of metal work, and I'm also based in St. Louis like Kyle, and evidently strange chemical reactions take place on my shop floor.
That might be the best introduction I've ever heard.
Yeah, I mean, who knew? I really wish I could get some of these fluorescent lights out of here somewhere. I don't know, try and figure something out. Maybe you guys get the non-shop light treatment. Hey, look at that right there. We'll get creative. I did a demo last Thursday for the local wood turning club, well, Woodworkers Guild in St. Louis, and I had to move a bunch of stuff in my shop around and schlep my lathe across town. So we're gonna go kind of diagonal like this.
I love it. Without any further ado, Shawn, tell us about Whirly Bird and tell us about yourself. How did you get started? Let's hear it, man. Let's hear the story.
All right, it's not too exciting, so don't have any expectations. Started, I don't know, a few years ago as active duty Army as a pilot, and ended up needing furniture. So I said, hey, I can make it. So I ended up buying the tools and making probably like how most people start, like 2x4 little like bench or whatever and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all, but very basic couple tools, piecing stuff together. Then I started selling when I was still on active duty and had very basic shop still, and started just selling the wooden flags. And then deployment, went to Afghanistan, came back for a year, very limited time in the shop just because my last year on active duty, the position I had. And then after I got out, I joined the Guard and kind of started taking off with doing a lot more stuff, got into epoxy, got a CNC, little laser. So a lot of the stuff that I do is more like custom stuff now, except for like seasonal like trays and stuff. I do a lot of charcuterie trays just for like, that's kind of how I got started into a new market or whatever. I kind of stopped doing the flags and started focusing on like local charcuterie people, especially in Southern California. There's like a ton of small businesses, and I actually get asked a lot like, oh, how do you like sell so much, or how'd you get into that? And I actually focused on that market and making like custom seasonal trays and stuff like that, and then just kind of takes off from there. And now I'm just like the wood guy. Everybody has like their wood guy or whatever. So yeah.
That's really awesome, and appreciate your service, man. Thank you for that. That's really cool. Yeah. So tell me about your trades, man. So what are your favorite types of wood? What kind of angle do you kind of pursue in that market?
So like with the CNC, I kind of avoid like stuff that like I just post, which is funny I say this, but I just posted like the bottle cap or bottle openers that like kind of everybody does with their scraps and stuff. But
Right.
I kind of focus on staying away from like, I guess stuff like that you can say that you can just get from Hobby Lobby, because there's just not a market for me. Like I'm not gonna spend my time in the shop even with a CNC just for the sanding. So I kind of like focus more seasonal or custom like trays, like Christmas, like I'll do one tray or whatever. And then all my charcuterie guys and gals will hit me up like, hey, how much? And pretty much like if I make it, it's gone.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, kind of like that. But it does get hard because, I mean, they're running a business too, and um, I can't like charge crazy prices for somebody who wants 10 or 20 charcuterie trays because then they're not making money, even if they try to pass the buck to the customer. So it's kind of like finding that balance with at least those trays. Um, as far as woods and stuff, like
Yeah.
I'll usually use like maple, ash, walnut. Being on the West Coast, I know like people in the South get walnut super cheap, but we're paying like $10 to $13 a board foot for it, which isn't crazy. I mean, but it's a lot more versus um, other locations in the U.S. at least. So ash is pretty cheap here. Maple's not too bad either. So it kind of just depends on what my customer wants to. So it's just kind of finding that balance and what works.
For sure. Awesome.
Are you finding that
Yeah.
ash is sort of becoming a little bit more common? Do you guys have the emerald ash borers out there on the West Coast yet? And are people taking down residential trees and stuff like that? Or
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I don't really know like as far as like all that goes as far as like sourcing it. We have like a lot of I'm in Long Beach, so I'm like in the middle of like I have Austin hardwoods, I have Rockler, which I mean not that I'll really buy lumber there, but and then a lot of like local spots where even people in more like outskirts of Southern California, they're driving like an hour to get stuff that I just have like really like I'm kind of blessed as far as that goes. So, but ashes, I mean, with the trays too, it's like hard to find like wide boards because if I can cut a wide board down and like just like especially if I'm doing like 10 trays at a time, if I can get 12-inch wide boards, then it makes it a whole lot easier and I don't have to charge as much, especially for those big orders, doing glue ups and stuff like that. So it's kind of a balance on finding what I can use easily. So
right on.
Great.
So you brought up, I was checking out your Instagram before this, and I knew I was gonna like you, and I know even more now because I'm doing the same friggin' bottle openers right now, and then we get on, and you've got the same
yeah,
sewer pipe going to your CNC, so I feel
yeah, there you
I
go.
feel at home in your shop
Yours is
already.
probably a lot more organized though.
What? No, hard pass.
So I
What
have
CNC do you
the
use?
Shapeoko, which I know gas, but like the way I guess I explained it to like a lot of people ask me too about like CNC and I do recommend that they do like look at a Onefinity if it's in their budget. But I always tell people like get the biggest one, even if get the biggest one that you can afford and can fit in your shop. And it's going to pay itself off. Like you're not going to have you're not going to regret buying it. It's going to pay itself off. And if you want to upgrade later, then cool. But if you can get the bigger one now, go ahead and do that. And I mean, Shapeoko and what's the other one? Then Venable's one. I mean, everybody's going to Rails, so it's kind of more of a different market than it was when I bought that, 2-3 years ago. So, but it's a Shapeoko XXL3. So many versions have come out since. So, but I mean, it's a workhorse. I haven't had any like really stoppage from using it. So,
And what software are you using? And are you creating your files for your trays, or are you just buying them on Etsy? Like how do you come
so
up with
like
what you're gonna
I'll make all my files, and I just use the Carbide Create, which is super basic. I had actually switched to I forgot which one it was, the subscription based one, where it's like $15 a month or whatever. I forget which one it is. Um, but I did it during Christmas time, which was probably the worst idea. Like I'm not going to be able to learn this and keep up with the demand, I guess. And so I went back to Carbide Create, and actually, it's like even though it's super basic, I'm not really doing 3D stuff right now, so it really doesn't matter. and I can just pump out the files like in a couple minutes. And I'm probably gonna switch to at least offering those up on my Etsy, because I have an Etsy and I don't even post up on there just because all the fees and stuff. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I can sell everything direct on Instagram and do fine. I mean, I have a website, but that's just more like looking professional kind of thing. Sometimes I'll post stuff up on there, but yeah, I'll probably turn my Etsy shop into like selling files and stuff on the cheap.
That's awesome.
So what is a project that you've done that you feel like you have the most pride in having completed? Was there an insurmountable hurdle that you were able to overcome, or maybe one that brought you the most joy?
So right now I'm working on, unfortunately, we
the bottle
lost
openers, wasn't it?
my father-in-law recently. It's not finished yet, but I'm actually working with my brother-in-law on doing it. My father-in-law was like a badass woodworker, like all like sick joints and stuff. Like I'm not on on his level by any means. So that's probably like one of the most proud of that I'm working on, even though it's not finished. I had to learn how to do dovetails, and granted, I'm not doing them by hand, but I also I didn't want to buy like a full setup where it costs $1,000 to make double dovetails and stuff like that. So I bought the quarter cable and figured out a way, which I've never seen anybody use it this way, but I've figured out a way to use the quarter cable jig to make double dovetails, and I don't know what they'd be, or double inlaid dovetails. So that's kind of cool, I think. Especially like
That's pretty.
my shop's like pretty low budget, minus, I mean, the CNCs, I guess, and like the planer's kind of expensive, but everything else, like my main tools, like my table saws, like the DeWalt job site, nothing wrong with it. A lot of people make some crazy stuff like that with it, but everything else is like pretty low budget. I need to like upgrade everything. So it's just kind of cool working with what you have to create something that, I guess, not even just impresses other people and like grabs their attention, but something that you're like, wow, I did this. I figured out a way. And that's kind of what woodworking is, at least for me. Like, yeah, I might be like cussing in the shop one day, but it's pretty therapeutic. And at the end of the day, like you can make some pretty cool stuff with not very much money into it.
Absolutely. I think we've all been there cussing in the shop. That's
Yeah, today,
tomorrow,
yesterday,
15
the night
minutes
before.
ago.
it never ends. No, that's really cool though. I mean, I really appreciate the fact that, there are a lot of other people out there who don't have a ton of those like fancy machines out there just making some incredible pieces of work, and you do some really great work. So keep up the good job, good work there. So with that being said, what kind of upgrades are you looking to make in your shop? You kind of talked about your table saw.
So
Anything else that you're kind of looking to upgrade here in the near future?
um, I'd like a CO2, and I might end up pulling a trigger finally, just because, I mean, I'm kind of all about automation and like doing, I guess, like all about kind of efficiency, especially if with my family life and work and all that stuff, with like the garden stuff, like my time's kind of limited, but I do like making things, and I think that'll definitely help out with the CNC. Couple those together, probably legit bandsaw. No, I have like a little rigid. I can't like really do much with that. And then the table saw, legit router table. Pretty much everything needs to be upgraded. I'm just like, I need to identify which one is first. So
That's awesome. That's really cool. I am jealous. I really want to get a laser too. So that's kind of on my list of hopefully someday.
yeah,
Uh,
especially like I do some signs and stuff like that, and I just think that that's the way to go. Especially like I could do it on the CNC, but it just takes a lot more time. Like even just cleaning up the cleanup on it, like sanding, finishing, and stuff. And the CO2 is kind of like the go-to, I feel like. And plus with like I have a 5-month-old baby, or 5-month baby, so like my time in the shop is like, if I can push a button, design it inside, push a button, check on it, then it's probably the right answer for me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And congrats on your little one. That's really cool.
Appreciate it.
Does your CNC, does it have a web interface like to where you can control
So
it from a
yeah,
computer?
just not like wireless. It's just like plug in, and then I don't have like I have to set up a laptop. I think what is it, the Onefinity, you actually have like a controller or something. But this one you have to hook up to a laptop.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's a controller, but I control it from the laptop. But in the, like, if you know, start it and then check on it later thing, I was gonna say I just found out on mine I can actually log into it on my phone. So I'm like starting every next carve on just on the phone, and I check on
Oh, no kidding.
on it with the
Which one do you
cameras.
have?
So
Okay.
I have the
That's-
Onefinity. The
Yeah,
and
that's
I've got
awesome.
that new one.
the
That new one that
Or
they
the-
dropped is pretty
anyone.
insane.
Yeah, I'm still a little bitter about that. They came out with that like 5 months after I ordered mine, and I literally ordered mine to build cornhole boards, and so the idea of using like a 4x4 sheet
Yeah.
instead of a third of a sheet at a time, I really wanted, and so they came out with that. I'm like, frick! Now I got to upgrade again.
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing, I guess, though, right? Like we all
Yeah.
gotta keep upgrading
Oh,
at some
yeah.
point. It's kind of nice to look forward to.
No, it's a horrible thing. We all need like those. It's been this many days since our last accident. Except it's been
Yeah.
this many days since I bought a tool.
That's the
signs.
truth.
That's what we need.
I feel like
TJ?
mine would just say 0.
Daily.
Feels like it.
We went to Home Depot to get literally one command hook to hang up a sign for my daughter on her door, and then I walked out and I turned and looked. And I'm like, well, frick! I forgot the command hook, but I've got another 4-pack of Vessi clamps in my hand. What happened?
Darn it!
I
You
mean,
gotta
a
go
sale
back.
is a sale is a sale, man. Like,
I try and buy one clamp every
Yeah,
time.
so
I go
what
to the
a-
store.
Sean, you've been one of our viewers for, I mean, well over a year now, right?
Yeah.
I feel like an episode of Sawdust Talk doesn't really happen unless you've made it into the audience.
Yes.
Do you have any favorite look backs or guests that you remember seeing that made you think, you know what, I think I need to be a guest on the show?
No, I am like, this is the most Instagram's ever seen my face. Like, if you watch any of my reels, like, I think I have 2 maybe with my face, and one's with my dog doing a dumb one, and then one you get a glimpse at the beginning, and then I'm gone, popping smoke, I'm out of there. Yeah, I'm not very good at that part. I know Instagram says you need to show your face, your viewers, your followers need to see da da da. Oh, they'll find me. But I don't know. There's been a lot of really cool people to come on. I mean, just the other day, I mean, D Miller, he's what, down the street in like Temecula area. I've been following him. He's a super cool dude. Yeah, there's just been, I don't know. It's more of a more of like a community thing when I hop on and stuff. Like, hey, what's up, everybody? Like, what are you guys working on? Like, smart ass comments, or I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss it, but my bad.
Feel free.
smart
No, we have
comments,
smart asses. You're absolutely correct.
and I don't know. It's more about like probably the community and hopping on and seeing how everybody's doing and what they're doing and any problems they have and how they're working through them and all that stuff. So.
No, I think it's awesome, man, and we appreciate you joining in and tuning in. But it is great to see your face and kind of meet you in person, honestly. So I had no idea what you looked like before that. Before when you sent those
Who's
pictures
this
in the
weirdo?
video, I was like, oh my God, okay, yeah. Now putting the face to the name, it's kind of nice. So
Yes.
I'm
When
glad.
you
I'm glad that you're able
ask
to
for
get
pictures,
here.
like, oh no, like, and it's funny because I was laughing because looking through my pictures, like, I literally only have like pictures of with the dogs and the baby and the family. Like, I'm just like not a selfie kind of guy, or like, yeah, or like helicopter crap or wood crap, but nothing of me.
That's awesome. Well, hopefully this will spur you into
So
more of that.
with
Hey, get your
Yeah,
face out
showing
there, keep
off.
pushing forward. Yeah, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
we want to see one
Yeah,
selfie a week on your
that's
Instagram
my
at
quota.
least.
Sorry, TJ, didn't mean to cut you off.
Um,
And I did it again.
This is awkward.
What happened?
I said I'm sorry, I didn't mean to keep cutting you off, TJ.
Oh, I don't know if I was even cut off. So we got that going for us. Come on, man, you got kids, you know. Okay, so we've talked about Instagram. I want to know a little bit about helicopters. I know this is a woodworking show, but you are one of the few people that I believe has actually gone up in a helicopter and landed it that isn't the president or a key point plot in a movie, because every other helicopter that you see in a movie basically crashes at some point. And I need to know that they're actually safe.
It depends on who's up front, I guess. I'd like to think I'm better than most, so you'll be safe with me.
I'm just saying, if there's a helicopter in a movie and it doesn't have the president or the main character on it, it's done for.
Yeah. Yeah, it's. I mean, I've probably put myself in positions that I probably shouldn't have. But Blackhawk's pretty cool machine, and Army produces some pretty decent pilots out of it. And fortunately, Army's losing a lot of them. They're all going to the airlines because the airlines are hurting so bad. But I mean, that's just the way it goes. So.
That's cool. Do you have any like fun or cool stories that you can tell us about, driving some of those Blackhawks or piloting
Um,
them?
Probably not. No. Classified.
they're
Yeah.
all class.
No,
Fair.
it's a really cool job. I think the flying part. But yeah, it's not. I don't know. It's not all like always cool. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it that you don't see, like the planning, and especially if you're like air assault and stuff like that. There's like a lot of hours they go into before you even get up in the air. And then even just like the training, it's kind of long, I guess, as far as training goes. But I mean, the flying's fun most of the time. Some of it's kind of boring, like just like a airplane puttering around and landing at airports and stuff, and just taking people from here to there and whatever. But I don't know. It's pretty cool, I guess. It's kind of like I guess it's more cool that you get like a different perspective on like not the world, but like physically, I guess the world, like over like flying around the Statue of Liberty was pretty cool. Just seeing a bunch of a different perspective on things, I guess.
No, that's awesome.
Over the Statue of Liberty. Don't lie, you were a plot point in the movie. Like I'm not going to be.
But it's always cool when you do something like that, and then you check like Instagram or social media, and then you see like your formation, like people on the ground taking pictures of you guys. Like that's kind of cool, I guess. But
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So I'm making the assumption that Whirly Bird is a helicopter. So did you at any point before you just like locked it in, did you try and say
yeah,
Whirly Bird
it's a mouthful.
Woodworks 3 times fast?
But I just yeah.
Because I tried it
I
once.
mean, everybody like who like before me always said like pick something that you're passionate about that's relatable or whatever, and I kind of just said, well, I don't care if it's hard to say. I mean, not that I'm like so passionate about it, but I thought it kind of like flowed decent, even though it's hard to say. Like I probably even said it like kind of messed up in like my intro video or whatever. But yeah, I thought about like, oh, I'm in SoCal now, like, but I'm not even like really big on California, so I don't know. That's just kind of what I went with.
Oh, that's awesome.
Where are you
Here,
from
I
originally?
grew up like 15 minutes away from Long Beach. Joined the Army, was active, moving around for almost 15 years, 14 years and change, I guess. And then got out, got remarried, and moved to Long Beach. And fortunately enough, well, I knew it before I moved here, but there's a unit like 10-minute drive from here. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah.
So 10-minute drive, but in Long Beach, so it's like a mile and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have to get on the freeway. I don't have to get on the 405 or nothing, so it's not bad at all. That's the killer. So
Traffic out there is terrible. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah, it's ridiculous.
All right, so what would you say is the secret to making not just a good and sellable board, but one that you think is going to be both good and sellable in the shortest amount of time? What are the ingredients? What's the recipe?
I mean, for me, like the CNC is like the way to go. Obviously, I even like was thinking about getting like even making my own templates and doing it like simultaneously. And I was like, it's not even worth it. Like I can throw one on by the time it's done doing it. And I got pretty proficient at like my files and stuff and how I either set up or how I even like run my bits and stuff like that. So by the time that's done, it pops off. I'm sanding it while another one's going, or if I'm batching them out, I have 4 going at a time, and then I can sand like that. But really, for me, it's like the seasonal. Like people like go crazy over like a pumpkin or a Christmas tree and stuff like that, and they're super easy to make. Like the files, like if I set you a file, you'd be like, "Are you kidding me?" Like it's an outline of a tree and then an inner and an outer, and that's all it is. And it's just using the bits to your advantage and knowing your feeds and speeds decent enough. But I'd say like even for like the Christmas tree example, like I stayed away from the pointy ones because people make them for like $10, or you can buy them at Hobby Lobby. So mine are curved and stuff like that. So it's like little spins that people see it. And not only that, but like I'm not making them with nothing wrong against pine, but I'm not making it with pine for the fact that you can go to Hobby Lobby. They're all over here. And you can buy them there. Like I'm not going to compete with Target. I'm not going to compete with Hobby Lobby. And because I've gotten a good reception out of the charcuterie people, I get free advertising from them. So I make a board, or they buy a board. They put like one tree, like a year later she posted, and I got like probably 50 messages about trees and how or when can they get them, and if I'm going to make any more. So I can't make any more, and they're like, well, let me know after the season. I still want to get some. So it's kind of nice having it in with like the local small businesses versus like going to like an actual brick and mortar shop where if I give you 10 boards, like I'm getting a lot less cut. It's direct to consumer, and I can charge. I mean, I don't think I charge crazy prices, but I can charge what I need to make it work.
No, that's great. So, awesome question. Like following that up, right? Like, how did you get into those businesses? Were you kind of selling your boards there, or like those small business connections? How'd you start that?
So I like kind of got lucky at the beginning with getting one who wanted I don't know if I should say it just because of like copyright stuff, but he wanted a Mickey board. So I made that, and if you like go into the depths of my feed, you can see like I did a lot of Mickey boards because they kind of blew up. But that's kind of how I got into that, and then I kind of like I said, it's free advertisement from them. Like they dress up the board, I don't have to do anything. I make them a nice board, they dress it up. So it's like I'm advertising it, they're advertising it for me, and that's repeatable because they're in like a charcuterie realm, and they're getting all these shares and likes, and bigger accounts are sharing them and having contests on like a wreath. I made a wreath one year, and like they like I don't know, like just like take off with it for me. So it's really nice having that.
That's incredible. I mean, that's an awesome connection to have, man. That's really cool.
But also it's like reaching out to them. Like I have like offered like, hey, you're local, like do you need anything or whatever. It's just kind of like I know that I can make a good, not that that's all I do, but I know that like I can kind of control not that space per se, but like I know that they'll just like take off, and they know that I'm making a good product just because of what I'm pushing out. So
That's great. I mean, it's a great partnership to have.
There's a question that just came through that I think it ties in. Gentleman's Workshop asks how many boards you make in a year.
So it's kind of hard to answer that just because one, I'm like on the business side, I'm like terrible. I'm a terrible businessman. Like you hit me up, I'm like probably making this long paragraph about stuff you don't care about. But other than that, like just the accountability, I would have to look. But um, it's also hard to say because like my woodworking in the last couple of years, like went from like starting and then we bought a house. So I had to move the shop. I had to build a shed to even like I'm working out of a like a 2-car garage. I had to build a shed, went at the new place, and then had to. This was all unfinished, so we had to finish this. So like, I'm only real. I was only real, and then we had the baby. So like, I've only been really working in like 6-month increments, and then so I don't know. I don't know, well over 100, I guess. I don't know. That's probably not a lot, but in a short amount of times, it can be a lot, especially like I should probably start on Christmas stuff like pretty soon, or like even like Halloween stuff like pretty soon, just because I can't make enough. Like I'll sell more than I can sell more than I can make. So
Oh my gosh, that's cool, man.
And granted,
Have you ever
I'm
done any
sorry.
crock pulls?
no, I was going to say,
There you go.
granted, you've got work and new babies, which means, your time is pretty chock-a-block. Have you ever tried doing craft fairs or shows or getting into that space at all?
So I get asked that a lot too, and I've done literally one show when I first started. I like built up like stock. That was when I was first working with epoxy. I got like my banner made. I got my easy up and all that, and I did one. I made I don't know $1,000, a little over 1,000 maybe, take home, and that's all I've done. Everything else is just pretty much direct off of Instagram. Like that's all I kind of do. With the baby though, like I kind of want to transition, going away from so much like custom work because like pretty much everything I do like is custom, which I enjoy doing, but it's just really hard with a baby. And but the laser would help too. So it's kind of like I kind of want to start putting stuff on my website and doing all that. I just don't really make enough like stuff on hand. Like it's always out the door. So I mean, it's a good problem to have, but at the same time, I'm kind of in a position where it might be better to focus on just building up like inventory and then going to a market, or at least dumping it on the website and seeing how it does.
Well, the good news for you is with a baby, with a 5-month-old, it gets so much
Yeah,
easier to watch them as they turn into like toddlers. Like they just get way
yeah,
easier
for
to deal with.
sure.
And they sleep way better too, right?
That's
I
a
don't know.
lie.
I've been lucky.
Yeah, that's all a
She's a
lie.
pretty good baby. She sleeps like 8
Bold-faced
hours.
lie.
I know that's probably going to piss somebody in here off who has a young one that doesn't sleep well, but she's been sleeping like 8 to 10 hours. So hopefully I didn't jinx it.
I want that for you
In
forever.
3 years,
May your
let's have you back on the
child
show.
sleep 10
Yeah,
hours
in three
at
years, let's have you
least
back on the
every
show.
night for now until forever. Amen. Like that's good stuff, man.
Well, it sucks because we have not that it sucks, but we have a 17-year-old and a 11-year-old. So we're always telling them, "Shh, the baby's sleeping. The baby's sleeping. Like, be quiet."
Please, please.
Yeah.
I will beat you.
Shaylee said she puts her kids to work now,
Yeah,
which is
that's the right
awesome.
answer right there. I mean,
That's amazing.
what is it? That's a legit tax break, right? Like put him to work, giving him a check and W-2 and all that or whatever.
It's a thing.
That's what TikTok keeps telling us.
All
But yeah,
right. So, sorry, TJ, go
I got
ahead.
I got nothing. Please, Kyle.
All right. So
DJ, I'm gonna send you a light with a button on it that you can light up like 20
I'll
seconds
start raising
before
my
you
hand.
want to talk.
I have a question. So Shawn, so you talked about your Etsy and how you haven't really been using it. Like, why do you still have an Etsy, or kind of walk us through kind of your Etsy kind of strategy there, and if you're planning on kind of posting more there, or kind of what's going on there.
So
I'm just really
it's kind of like
curious about that. That's kind of cool.
it's kind of like everybody asks me like, do you have an Etsy? Like, yeah, or like, because I've sold stuff on like Facebook Marketplace. Like I posted stuff and like forgot I posted it, and then they hit me up and ask me for what else do I have, and they buy 4 boards for me for like Christmas or whatever, and give them to their friends and
No
ask for
kidding.
customizations. So it's kind of like people just expect me to have it, but the fees, like for me, they just don't make sense. Like I get free advertisement here. I get and I think well enough for at least what I'm trying to do. So
Right.
there's kind of no need, and that's why I want to, at least for like files and stuff. I'll probably throw that to the Etsy, because I don't care about that really. Like it's more like, and I don't even really care about the money as far as like for my files. Yeah, like give me it for my time or whatever. But I mean, I bet you if any of you guys, or even any of my woodworking buddies ask me for a file, like that I made, like I'm sending it to you. Like I don't. It's not like, it's more kind of just more advertisement. Like, hey, like I made this board out of this file, and then let me check out its page or whatever kind of thing. Like I'm not really, like, it's just too much fees and doesn't make sense for me. So
For sure. No, I've noticed that too. It's expensive, honestly.
well, and then you get people like, you're trying to sell a product, but they're getting ads from other people in your space. So it just like doesn't make any sense. I'll throw it on my website where I'm not charging any. I don't have to charge additional fees.
Right.
Like I'm more of like, if somebody's buying something from me, like I'm trying to get them the best product at the best price that I can, and Etsy doesn't allow me to do that. If they're gonna buy it, then cool, but it's just, I can take them out of the equation.
For sure.
Well, and it seems like Etsy's moved away from being like a place for like small, crafts people. And I mean, there's so much stuff that's it's just white labeled and resold
Yep.
stuff that you can get at, Target or whatever. What software, like, how are you managing your website and like your sales? Like, is it Venmo, or are you using like
So
Shopify?
my
What's
website
that
is
look
through
like?
Shopify, and then as far as payments, I always tell people like Venmo, or what's the other one? I pretty much have everything, just because even when I started with selling flags, people were asking to pay me through Cash App. Like, okay, let me download the app, and or PayPal. Like, so it's like Venmo and Zelle preferred kind of thing. But I'll if you need to use credit card, I'll do it. But I have to I'll do that in the cost. And it's easy kind of for me with all the custom work that I do to do it that way. But if I do it more of like inventory and like, these are what I have, then it's going to go to the website, and then the price is kind of reflected in that, with if I have to charge fees and stuff like that, or the shipping and
Right.
that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
TJ?
No Cash App out on the West Coast.
I just don't trust it, honestly. Like, it's pretty sketch. Like,
It sounds fake.
Only mildly
Okay.
sketch, to be fair.
I'm still convinced that it's fake, like
Yeah.
straight up Cash App. Like it just sounds
So-
fake.
Let's say you've got a month, 30 days, right? To not only learn how to build the skill set, but also this magic wallet that just keeps popping $100 bills out of it every time you open it, right? So there's no shortage of money. What skill set do you learn? What do you choose? And is it shop related, or is it elsewhere?
So it's funny you asked that, because I've actually there's a program in the for like disabled veterans that it used to be called vocational rehab. It's VRNE now, that basically allows me to go into a completely whatever I kind of want to do, as long as like my disabilities aren't affected by it, kind of thing. Pay for school and all that. So I'm kind of in that situation now where I'm trying to figure out what I want to do when I grow up. Um, and it might not be here. So it'll be maybe less time in the shop, but um, yeah, I have some thinking to do, I guess. In a perfect world, I mean, it'd be in here. I'd be in here all the time and getting my therapy from it and all. But that might not be the case, or even the smartest decision. There's a lot of things that I would like to learn about in the shop, especially like talking about getting a laser. And I mean, I'm like in awe of some things that makers and woodworkers make out there, especially like big furniture like tables and stuff. But in a 2-car garage shop, I have to kind of focus on, like, that's why I do, I think, a lot of small things. I'll do big tables and stuff like that here and there, but it just kind of doesn't make sense that I focus only on that. So I don't know. I guess you guys might find out what I'm going to be when I grow up soon, but
That's
Should we set up an LLC called like Laser Therapy LLC, and then you just be like, yeah, this is the therapy I want, and it's exactly how
yeah.
much a laser costs.
I
This is
appreciate it.
crazy.
Well,
Thanks,
actually, that
the
program
government.
allows you to even like start small businesses and stuff like that. So it's a crazy
really?
program that veterans don't
That's
even know
cool.
about. I've been fortunate enough to kind of be approved for that. So we'll see.
You
Yeah,
just put in
yeah.
the request and cash app you.
I'll never get paid.
Just keep waiting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm over
No, that
here secretly hoping it's
So
interpretive dance, but like,
Underwater basket weaving.
there you
ribbon
go.
dancing. So two-car garage shop. How's it set up? Is everything on wheels? Does your wife get mad that you can't park a car in there? Do you have to move stuff?
A
What's that
mess,
look like?
I would say. But I'm actually gonna like do a complete overhaul with the father-in-law's tools and stuff. Like, he had a bunch of stuff that I'm gonna end up getting. So what it looks like now is gonna be probably completely different in like the next few months. Even just like the table saw, like that's a bigger tool for a two car garage. So that's gonna change the entire configuration. Right now I have like one of those like 8 foot, like basically a full sheet of plywood table in the middle on wheels, and then everything else is kind of like on the sides. And then I have a Frankenstein dust collector, the Harbor Freight Frankenstein, that I did and ran everywhere, which I'll keep that, but it's just going to be like, I need to like reconfigure their entire thing just based on those tools. And yeah.
that's
Yeah, all of us.
mine's over in that corner. But
You just can't
Yeah,
argue
I
with that
mean,
Harbor Freight one.
it's a lot of money otherwise, but I have really no complaints with it. So had it for running for like over a year now.
Yeah, getting excited about something that
You
sucks
said
is
it
always
was.
kind of tricky to like send in a text message also. It's like, you wouldn't believe how much this thing sucks! Exclamation point. And it's like,
You said it was a Frankenstein.
So I
Have you
have
upgraded it at all?
a
Or
like 55 gallon. So it's 2 stage. Like your looks like yours is. So I have the 55 gallon like plastic bin, and then and then I don't have the I didn't put a cyclone on top. I did the cheap like the Rockler, where it sucks from different angles or whatever, and then goes to to a I bought one of those. It's like a semi truck filter, and then it goes to a bucket. So
did you
no,
did you upgrade
I
the
didn't.
impeller at
Yeah,
all?
that's probably. I mean, I'll probably do a couple things like that, but I mean, I don't really have a lot running from it. The biggest thing that I do run is like the CNC, and it's across the way, so I might just for a little bit. And on the CNC, I just I have a 4 inch on it instead of the 2.5, so it's doing a lot better than it was.
Yeah, that impeller upgrade is not as
Yeah,
easy as
that
the internet
impeller
wants you to
is
think it is,
Yeah.
by the way.
no, no. It is. It's super easy if you put it in. Like if you drive from Harbor Freight with it, drive home and put the impeller in. Then, if you do it at any point later, it's basically welded on. You're gonna ruin it, and you're gonna go buy another.
You just gotta get that
$600
Harbor
dust
Freight
cover.
warranty.
Ask me how I know.
This
Ask me how
was
I know.
not my experience, and there was no gear puller on planet Earth that was going to get the factory impeller off of there.
When we did mine, we literally like just demolished the entire thing. Like it was just everything was broken. And then I went and picked up another one, and I didn't even need the gear puller. I literally just unbolted and just like pulled it off. I'm like,
I got 4-letter words for that
Start.
story. They're both work hard. Good jobs.
All right.
Don't worry.
All
I
right, Shawn.
suffered.
I want to know what's next for you, right? So you talked about, all the charcuterie boards and some of the tables that you've kind of done. But like, are there any like upcoming projects that you're kind of looking forward to building or kind of getting into in the future?
So when the baby was born, I kind of put everybody like on notice, like, hey, I'm not kind of taking orders, and I still like get some trickling in or whatever, but I haven't really opened up. So I'm kind of just finishing everything I need to make for the family. I'm sure the wife has a growing list with me being out of the shop, and kind of just finishing stuff that I've already accepted and couldn't handle just with the life events that came about. And then after that, I'll be starting school in the fall, so I'm probably going to go hard for a little bit in the shop, and then what is that? Summer. There's no real seasonal kind of thing, so it's kind of just like making whatever I want, which is always nice. And then seeing what trickles in. Nothing really planned, I guess.
Gotcha. No, that's cool, and that's exciting about school, man. That's really cool. Can't wait to see where you're headed and hear more about that, man. That's really cool.
Do we have any questions from the audience? The time is now 10:52, and I cannot see any of the icons at the bottom of the screen.
Can you see that?
I can see.
Because the
Yes,
black sawdust is starting to really affect you,
my
or
money's
technology?
pointing towards usually 1 out of 3 of the hosts doesn't get to see the questions, and I pulled the short straw tonight. So
That usually is a thing for whatever reason. I don't understand it. So really, we only have one question tonight, and if anybody else has questions, feel free to throw them down there, and we can kind of get to those. But any suggestions on a less noisy chop saw? Currently, I use the DeWalt, and it's very loud for a neighborhood garage. I assume this is for everyone, not just you, Shawn. Shawn, but I'll throw it to you first and see what you if you have a chop saw, do you use it, or
Get new neighbors.
any suggestions there?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, mine's my miter's pretty noisy, but my neighbors are chill, so I don't know.
I use mine in the middle of the night, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I have developed an infatuation with brushless battery-powered 7 1/4 chop and miter saws. They have a little bit slower startup than some of the older corded tools. They have the soft start on them, and I realized that 99% of the cuts that I do on a miter saw can usually be done with a slide, and they're 2x or smaller. So it was one of those, like, it's easy to pick up. I do a lot of work over at friends and family anyway, so not having to schlep a 75-pound giant Craftsman cast iron beast anymore has been awesome. And if you are shopping for a miter saw, stay away from lasers and start chasing the the LED shadow line if you can, because it is awesome stuff.
Don't lie, you're still
Not
hauling
anymore,
cast iron
man.
beast.
Not
That's your
anymore. That
nickname,
thing's
bud.
parked under a pile of
That's your
shavings.
nickname. We all
TJ,
know they're
the
talking
real
about
question is,
you.
what kind are you using?
Oh, mine's made from a really fancy company called Bauer. It is available at Harbor Freight Tools, and I figure I've had it for 6 months and have made 300 cuts on it, so I've paid probably 50 cents a cut in my first 6 months, and that's only going to get cheaper and cheaper, and it just keeps going.
That's awesome. I love it. Braden, any?
The real trick is when I have the Bosch 10-inch, which is, you know, a decent one, but they're all loud. I mean, chop saws are just loud. I don't know if it's lucky or not lucky for my neighbors, but my chop saw is like one of the quietest tools in my shop because of the dust collection and everything. So when we moved into the new shop, I literally went to every neighbor with a handmade cutting board and was like, hey, I have a wood shop. I do it in the garage. Let me know if it's ever too loud, too late. And all my neighbors have been super chill about it. Because one of the reasons we bought this house was we talked to one of the across the street neighbors, and they also have a wood shop. And then this guy also builds. So we're just all
Kind of
bothering
awesome.
each other. So.
My son is like sleeping right there, so I'm like, I've got like a monitor in here, and I'm like, oh, I really hope I don't wake him every night that I'm in here. I'm like, oh my God. I put a bunch of like sound barrier stuff up there. I was like, oh, please, please don't wake him. All right, Shawn, we'll go around the horn real quick and hit you with some last final questions, man. It's been a fun hour, and really, really glad that you were able to join us and we were able to see your face. It's been fun, man, no, for real. And I would just urge you to, you know, keep showing your face and showing up on Instagram. And yeah, man, my question for you is, if you have any advice for anybody like looking to get into selling their merchandise on Instagram, what kind of advice would you have for them? Would you give them?
I guess like be realistic, and I guess your skills and stuff like that. Not throwing any shade like anything like that, but you're putting your name on something, and if it's good, you're gonna get repeat customers, and they're gonna tell their friends about you and all that. Big thing is if you're gonna do it like on Instagram, free advertisement, keep making reels. Who cares if they don't get over 1,000 views? Like I'm consider myself a pretty like low as far as like following and all that, but I mean I got like a pretty like decent affiliate, and I mean that helps out tons. Like as far as like getting stuff that I need, more free advertisement and stuff like that. So just work hard and be proud of what you do. Be open about your abilities, and yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. Braden.
First off, do we need to give you an opportunity to fulfill your contractual obligation to mention your affiliate?
No, I'm good.
Or are you
Dude, these guys
good?
are so chill. It's Bidwell and Iron. Most of you guys know they're like by Atomic. So super cool company, super easy to work with. I don't have any crazy stories about contracts and stuff like that. They just make a good product. They're like, I don't know, like I'm really happy to be a part of their team. Like when it comes to their wood oil, C channel, like all the stuff that they have is stuff that I use anyways, and it's like top of the line stuff. So
That's awesome. And they're located in California, aren't they?
yep, they're in like more central. So for me, like I get stuff super quick, super high quality stuff, and especially like with that whole Odie's debacle. Yeah,
You don't say that word.
I got the snap back on. So
Way to go.
So my actual question. So with you being affiliated with like Goodwill, have you seen the
yeah,
TNT clamp racks that they're
so
loading in, and
those
what do you
are
think about
super
those?
cool. I just for me, like I stay away from cutting boards, and it goes back to the same thing with like wood prices. Like if you can get walnut for $5 a board foot, and the hobbyist that's making cutting boards, like I just don't do enough glue ups for it to make sense in my shop. I would say it's a very, very nice product, but it doesn't make sense for the 2-car garage and the tools that I really do need to make the stuff that I'm focusing on. But if you're making cutting boards, if you do a lot of glue ups, that thing is a beast.
All
All
right,
right.
TJ, it's
Well,
your turn.
how about you share with us and the rest of the audience a motivational idea or thought or quote to get us to kick our shop doors open, get messy, get awesome. What do you got for us?
It's like it's funny because I was like in the military and an NCO before I became a warrant officer and stuff. But I do not have like the I mean I was a leader or whatever, but I don't have like motivational speeches and stuff like that. Like I guess get at it, work hard. If I guess my thing is if you work hard, like you're gonna do well. Like put in the sweat equity. Um, Even when it comes to like content creation, like don't get discouraged. Like I make reels. That's kind of all I do. Like you probably can't find a picture without scrolling all the way to the bottom of my feed. It's all reels. Some of them do terribly. Some of them do okay, but none of them have popped off. You have people that post a reel and it gets 40,000, 100,000 views and all these likes and stuff, but you won't find that on my page. And I think I do well with what I have. And like I said, I don't have the most expensive shop, but take pride in what you make.
Very
I think that's
cool.
motivation enough, man. No, that's really cool, and I think you do some great work, and it hasn't hindered you yet. So that's the great thing, right? Like you're doing great just the way you are. So keep up the great work, and we appreciate you being here, man. It's been fun.
Appreciate you guys having me.
That's cool.
And with that, that's it. That's it. We'll see you later. We'll see you next week. Brayden, TJ, it's been fun. Thank you guys for co-hosting with me. Shawn, man, you're awesome. You're really great. And I can't wait to see what your schooling holds for you, and best of luck with that. So
Appreciate it.
thanks again. And we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.